everybody, welcome to another episode of In the Kitchen with Lisa. I'm personal chef Lisa Spampinato, and today we're going to do a really quick and easy recipe. We're going to be grilling, but in the rain. So summertime is almost upon us, and I like to use the grill outside as much as I can. So today I'm going to show you how to do a really easy recipe, and if you don't want to grill it, you can certainly do it in your oven under the broiler. It takes no time at all. It's a marinated flank steak. So I've got here one 1 pound flank steak, and I'm going to show you how to prep that for the marinade. But the first thing we're going to get started with is the marinade itself. So I've got my little bowl here, and I've done this trick before. Instead of putting all the marinade into the bowl, I'm going to take a plastic bag and just going to put it in the bowl itself and put my marinade right in there. So the ingredients we're going to be using today are garlic cloves, some ground ginger, some soy sauce, some dry sherry, some crushed red pepper flakes, and some honey, as well as salt and pepper. We're going to season to taste with that. So first, let's get started. Oh, and some lemongrass. Lemongrass, sometimes you can find it in the stores, sometimes you can't. Sometimes it doesn't look so good. So I buy this. I think I've shown you all this before. It comes in a tube, and it's usually in the herb aisle. And it's already ground up for you in like an oil base. So super easy. Keep this in the freezer. Okay. I'm going to start with 2 garlic cloves. All right, I'm going to give these a good mince, and then into the bag they're going to go. And you know, if you don't have any fresh garlic on hand, yeah, you can use the stuff that comes in the jar and the oil. Just make sure that you keep it refrigerated, and don't ever take fresh garlic and store it in oil on the counter, because it will make you sick. It will spoil and give you botulism. So either use the jarred stuff that you can buy in the store, or just keep some fresh garlic cloves on hand. Really easy, doesn't take a lot of time. And you definitely can smell the difference and taste the difference. I think it's a little stronger than the jarred stuff, but I'm guilty of using the jarred stuff on occasion too. Okay. That's good. I'm going to get that into my marinade bag. Okay. Okay, great. Next, I'm going to put in a teaspoon of ground ginger, and you can use fresh ginger. If you're going to use fresh, do 2 teaspoons of diced up ginger or 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. In it goes. Okay. Then I'm going to put in just a pinch of the crushed red pepper flakes, because I don't really like very spicy. Okay. Then I'm going to do some of this lemongrass, about 2 teaspoons worth. 1, 2. Okay. Then I've got 2 tablespoons of dry sherry and 1/4 cup of soy sauce. You can do the reduced sodium, it'll still be plenty salty. Okay. And 2 teaspoons of honey. And I'm just gonna kind of eye this. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. That was probably a little bit more, but it's okay. Trust me, it won't ruin it. All right. Now that I've got all of my seasoning in there, I'm going to take my whisk and just kind of mix this up, because that honey will stick to the bottom if you don't. So you want to make sure you get in there and combine it really well. Okay. And that looks good. And the next thing we want to do now is prepare our steak for the marinade. Now, I don't know if you noticed, but I made sure that I did all my chopping and anything before I did the meat, because I didn't want to cross-contaminate anything. Even though it's not cooked, I still like to do the veggies or the herbs first and then do the meat on the board, or switch out your board. Okay. And again, this is a pound of flank steak. Okay. Let me just rinse my hands really quick. This is called a jacquard, and it's got some really sharp, spiky points. This is what we use for tenderizing the meat. If you don't have one of these, perfectly okay. Just grab a fork and start poking at it. So I'm going to go ahead and tenderize both sides of this. And that's going to help all the flavor get in there, and it's going to also break up some of that fat and muscle that's in there that can kind of toughen the steak. This will give the marinade a chance to work its way in there and give it a really nice texture. Okay, now the other side. Okay, now I'm going to put the steak in the bag, put it in the fridge for as little as 3 hours and as long as overnight. It's really up to you. And try and squeeze as much air out of that bag as you can, because that's going to help force the marinade into the meat. Give it a good toss. So I've gone ahead and put the one that we just put in the marinade in the fridge, and I have here some that are marinating already, so I'm going to take one out and show you what to do before you get your grill going. I've already turned my grill on, so it's heating now. And I've put it on high because I want to get some nice sear marks on the outside of this. So, it smells really good. I can smell the garlic in this. Okay. I want to leave the marinade and pour it into a pot to put on the stove to boil down and reduce and make a sauce for later. So I'll show you that in a minute. The first thing you want to do before you put it on the grill is kind of pat it dry, because you don't need all of that marinade burning on the outside of your steak on the grill. So we'll just give it a little pat and take some of that liquid off, and it'll steam it too, and you don't want to steam it. Okay. Then I want to show you what I have here for my grill. Is just a paper towel, and I've put some oil on it. I've used olive oil, but you don't have to use olive oil. You can use whichever oil you want. And this is going to go across the grill before I put the meat on so that it doesn't stick. So let's head outside to the grill and we'll put the steak on.